Okay, so you know how we're all living more and more of our lives online these days?
Hmm.
Well, with that comes a whole new set of things we really got to be on top of.
Yeah,
And one of the big ones today is how to protect ourselves from identity theft.
absolutely. This isn't just some like theoretical risk you hear about. It can have really serious consequences for people like you listening right now.
So today, we're doing a deep dive into identity theft. We're going to lay out exactly what it is.
Yeah, how these criminals actually get a hold of your information.
Uh-huh. And most importantly, what steps you can take to protect yourself and what to do if it happens to you.
Exactly. A lot of people think of identity theft as someone like stealing your credit card and going on a shopping spree.
Right, like buying a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, but it's actually a lot more than that. It's anytime someone uses your personal information without your permission.
Things like your social security number,
Your bank account info,
credit cards,
medical records.
all that stuff.
Yeah, and they can use that information to do all sorts of damage.
So let's break it down for our listeners. What are some of the ways that these identity thieves can actually use this stolen information?
Well, the obvious one is they can open new accounts in your name.
Oh yeah, credit cards, bank accounts.
Exactly. They can also take out loans in your name, leaving you with the debt.
And I bet they can file taxes using your
Yeah,
information.
you got it. They can file fraudulent tax returns and try to get your refund before you do.
Wow.
And it's not just financial damage they can cause.
Oh, right, medical identity theft is a thing too,
Yeah, they can use your insurance information to get medical treatment.
which I guess could really mess with your medical records down the line.
Exactly. And you might not even realize you're a victim right away.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it so scary. You might start getting bills for things you never bought, or you might notice your credit score is dropped for no reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. By the time you realize what's happened, a lot of damage could already be done.
Right. And it's not just like the financial side of things, it's also the time and the stress it takes to fix everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about how these identity thieves actually get their hands on your information in the first place.
A lot of people think, oh, it's got to be these like super sophisticated hackers.
Like in the movies, right?
Yeah, but honestly, a lot of identity theft happens through really simple methods.
Really?
Yeah, like dumpster diving.
Dumpster diving.
You'd be surprised what people throw away without shredding at first.
Okay, so like bank statements, old credit card offers.
Even tax returns with your social security number on them.
Ugh, that's scary.
And then, of course, there's phishing.
Phishing emails, right?
Yeah, those emails or text messages that try to trick you into giving away your personal information.
Those are getting so clever too. Like they look so real.
They do. They often look like they're coming from your bank or a company you trust.
Right. It makes you want to click on the link or open the attachment without thinking.
Exactly. And that's how they get you.
And let's not forget about public Wi-Fi.
Ah, yes. Public Wi-Fi. Always a risk.
I mean, who doesn't love to use free Wi-Fi at a coffee shop or the airport?
Right, but you got to be super careful because those networks are often not secure.
Meaning,
Someone could be snooping on your connection and intercepting your data.
like when you're online banking or shopping.
Exactly. And they could steal your login credentials or credit card information.
So it's like basically using public Wi-Fi is like sending your information out in a postcard for anyone to read.
Pretty much.
And then there are those phone scams where people pretend to be from your bank or the IRS,
Oh, yeah. Those are always fun.
trying to scare you into giving them your information.
Exactly. They'll say things like, oh, we've detected suspicious activity on your account, or you owe back taxes, and if you don't pay right now, you're going to jail.
But people panic and just give them whatever they want.
It's all about creating that sense of urgency and fear.
Okay, so it seems like these identity thieves are coming at us from all sides.
They are. But that doesn't mean we're powerless. There are a lot of things you can do to protect yourself.
So let's get into that. What are some proactive steps our listeners can take right now to reduce their risk of becoming a victim?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to use strong, unique passwords for all your online accounts.
Right, not the same password for everything.
No, if one account gets compromised, they all are.
So how do we create a strong password? What does that even look like?
A strong password should be at least 12 characters long.
Okay.
And it should include a mix of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and symbols.
Got it.
And try to avoid using common words or phrases.
Anything else?
And don't use personal information like your birthday or your pet's name.
Good point. Okay, so we've got strong passwords. What else can we do?
Enable two-factor authentication wherever possible.
So two-factor authentication, what is that exactly?
It's basically adding an extra layer of security to your accounts.
Okay, how does it work?
So when you log in from a new device, it'll require you to enter a code from your phone or email in addition to your password.
So even if someone gets your password, they can't get into your account without that code.
Exactly. It makes it a lot harder for them.
That's good to know. Anything else?
Check your credit reports regularly.
How often should we be doing that?
At least once a year, but you can do it more often if you want.
And where do we go to do that?
You can get a free credit report from each of the 3 major credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion.
Okay. And that'll allow us to see if there's any suspicious activity.
Right. You can see if there are any accounts that you don't recognize or any inquiries that you didn't make.
Good tip. What else?
Shred your sensitive documents before you throw them away.
Oh, yeah. That's an easy one.
Anything with your account numbers, social security number, or other personal information should be shredded.
Makes sense.
And be super careful about using public Wi-Fi for banking or shopping.
Right. We talked about that earlier.
If you have to use public Wi-Fi, use a VPN.
A VPN? What is that?
It stands for Virtual Private Network,
Okay.
and it encrypts your internet traffic, making it more secure.
So it's like putting your information in a secret code that only you and the website can understand.
Exactly.
Got it. What else?
Consider freezing your credit if you're not planning on applying for any new credit anytime soon.
So how does freezing your credit help?
It basically prevents anyone from accessing your credit report without your permission.
So identity thieves can't open new accounts in your name.
Right, and it's free and easy to do. You can unfreeze it temporarily when you need to apply for credit.
Okay, that's a good one. And last but not least,
Be extremely careful about clicking on suspicious links or downloading unknown attachments.
emails or text messages.
Exactly. Those could be phishing attempts, or they could contain malware.
Malware?
Yeah, it's software that can harm your computer or steal your information.
So basically, don't click on anything unless you're absolutely sure it's safe.
Right. And if you're not sure, it's always better to err on the side of caution.
Okay, so that's a lot of great tips. But what happens if, despite our best efforts, we do become a victim of identity theft?
Well, the first thing you need to do is report it.
Okay, where do we report it to?
You can report it to the FTC,
The FTC.
the Federal Trade Commission.
Okay, and how do we do that?
You can file a report online at identitytheft.gov.
Identitytheft.gov. Got it.
Uh,
What else should we do?
you should also place a fraud alert on your credit reports.
Okay, so how do we do that?
You can contact one of the 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, or TransUnion,
Right.
and let them know that you're a victim of identity theft.
And what does a fraud alert do?
It basically tells creditors to take extra steps to verify your identity before they issue any new credit in your name.
Okay, so it makes it harder for the identity thieves to open new accounts.
Exactly. And you should also consider freezing your credit if you haven't already.
Right, we talked about that earlier.
It's a really good way to prevent further damage.
And what about contacting our banks and credit card companies?
Yes, absolutely. Contact them immediately and let them know what happened.
Right, so they can close any compromised accounts and issue new cards.
Exactly. And they can help you dispute any fraudulent charges.
Good point. Anything else?
Yeah, you should also file a police report.
Especially if fraudulent accounts have been opened or if there's other evidence of a crime.
Right. A police report can be helpful when you're trying to clear your name and recover any losses.
So basically, if you think you've been a victim of identity theft, act fast
Exactly. The sooner you take action, the better.
and document everything.
Keep records of all your communications, the dates, the names of people you spoke with, and any reference numbers.
Because you never know when you might need that information.
Right. And remember, you're not alone. Millions of people are victims of identity theft every year.
It's a huge problem, but it's not insurmountable. By taking proactive steps and knowing what to do if it happens, we can protect ourselves.
Exactly.
So think of these tips as your own personal security toolkit.
Use it wisely and stay safe out there.
And one last thing, please share this information with your friends and family.
Yeah. The more people who know about identity theft and how to prevent it, the better.
So after hearing all of this, what's the one thing that stood out to you? What will you do differently starting today?
We hope this deep dive has given you some actionable steps to take control of your online security. Stay vigilant and stay safe.
Thanks for listening.
And we'll catch you next time.
If this podcast helped you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your support helps us keep making these videos. Thanks for watching.